ladies and gentlemen, so let's talk about the transfers, because the transfers need to be talked about. So today we had a massive amount of news in terms of transfers. Now, of course, the very first one that I already made a video about was Marc Rocha officially being signed. That happened about 5 minutes or 10 minutes before the game started, which I found was a very bad way to do it, because now nobody cares about it anymore. Like you know, people. It was mentioned on social media 5 or 10 minutes before the game, and everyone was like, "Awesome!" And then the game started. And it was like, "Okay, the game is starting." You know, so it kind of just in the back of everyone's head, and it's just to me like he deserves a little bit more. You know, either you wait until like now, you know, this time right now, where people have already digested the game and are now just like you know relaxing, and then you like, all right, we announced it, and everyone's like, whoa, amazing, fantastic, brilliant. Well, that wasn't the case. So now Marc Rocha has signed. Obviously, I think it's a very good deal. I've talked about that already, so I won't go into that much detail with that transfer. But I do think we're gonna have a lot of fun with him. Quite a steal at that price, 9 million plus 6 million. I thought absolutely brilliant. But now let's look at some of the other transfer rumors that have come out since yesterday. Now the first one is Bouna Sarr from Olympique Marseille. Now I've seen a bit of Olympique Marseille, but not enough to really say like anything of that sort. To me, what matters the most is that the fee, 10 million. So the fee reported is 10 million, which is obviously, in my opinion, very good. Now that deal is supposed to happen tomorrow. I think it's a good deal. I know people are saying, well, why are we going for Sarr? Like every day, there's somewhere there we could be getting this person and that person. So to me, it's like, bro, we need a right back. I've said this before. I don't really care who we get. We could get. They could put me in, all right. They could clone me and put me in, all right, and I'll do a fantastic job. Right now, we just need bodies. We saw with Chris Richards today that attacking wise, I thought he was pretty good, but the issue was his tackle. His getting the ball. He's obviously not much of a right back, but like getting the ball. His pressing was lacking. You know, there's a reason why Gnabry, you know, had to kind of stop with all his offensive momentum, because Chris Richards, he was very much backing off, whereas he should be getting much closer and tighter. And obviously he's still very young, so he'll improve in that. But now you've got Sarr as well, which I think is a good deal. For 10 million, you can't go wrong, you know. And he's not obviously going to be the starting right back. That's going to be Pavard, but putting a little bit of pressure on Pavard, in my opinion, is going to be very good. So the Sarr rumor, 10 million, I think it's a if we manage to pull it off by tomorrow, I think that would be brilliant. You know, it seems like everything is sorted. All that has happened now is the medical, which will happen tomorrow. So for me, from my standpoint, from where I'm sitting in this chair, I'm saying it's a good deal. Shoot, where do we go next? All right, let's talk about it. Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting. This one I'm like, okay, I don't know. Apparently he's getting a 2 million, sorry, not 2 million, a 2-year contract. Now, I don't rate him highly. I never have, I never will, alright? He's been a flop at PSG. But he hasn't been a flop as big as Icardi. And to me, it's one of those like, all right, backup for Lewandowski. I understand it. We're loaning Zirkzee. I will get into that later, obviously, as well. But apparently we're loaning Zirkzee out. So we have to get a striker. We have to get a striker that won't mind sitting on the bench too much. That will, you know, once he's given a chance, do something. You can tell I'm clutching at straws. You can tell I'm like, yeah, when in reality, you all know how I'm thinking. Right now I'm thinking, I get it, and I won't complain. It's a, you know, backup striker. Striker wasn't even on the positions that I thought we should get upgrades, but that's because I thought, you know, Zirkzee will get a lot more time. So now with Zirkzee being loaned out, or being, you know, apparently being loaned out, I should say, we do need a backup in the striking department. So I will take him. I won't complain about it, but it's kind of a shock when I thought like Zirkzee's gonna get a lot of minutes this time. I thought Zirkzee's gonna like really fight for that position. Not really fight for, like, fighting against Lewandowski, because Lewandowski is obviously going to be our starter. That isn't going to change, but like fight to get those minutes, basically. Like whenever Lewandowski, 60 or 70 minutes, he gets off, and then Zirkzee comes on. It's like, yeah, it's time for me to rock and roll. But no, that wasn't the case. That's not going to be the case at all, which I can understand. I'm not really against, but that was my expectation. So, and then waking up today and seeing that we're linked with Eric's, Maxim, Choupo-Moting, and everyone is saying that's already done, just medical tomorrow and whatnot. It's like, okay, you know what? I won't complain. I will not complain. He's a free agent. I believe PSG released him, so he's a free agent. So besides his contract, as well as a potential signing on fee, there's not really much that we have to pay there. So I mean, it's a free deal. I don't mind at all. And then Douglas Costa. All right, let's talk about Costa. Everyone that's been watching my channel for a while knows that when Costa was at Bayern, I was a big fan. I was a enormous fan of Douglas Costa, alright? And then his attitude issues happened. His performances issues happened. Oh, I need to play. Why is Ribery? Why is Robin playing ahead of me? I deserve to play. I need to play. If I'm not playing, I'm leaving. He plays against Real Madrid. Puts in no effort, no performance, nothing. Basically just strolls in the game. It's just standing there in the game like, I don't even care anymore. And that was the moment I was like, okay, out. Get rid of him. Like, I can accept players not having good games. I can fully accept that. And even if we're losing 4-0, all right, or 6-0, or 10-0, all right, if we're losing 20-0, I don't care. I still want the players to put in effort. It might not work at all times. It might not ever. You might have a very bad game where like everything you do just doesn't work. But when you put no effort in at all, that's when you're dead to me. Like that's when I'm like, okay, out with you. Because I have no love. I'm cutthroat in a way. Like, I have no love for these players. Just the way it is. Like, if for example, whenever the rumors came about Müller leaving and whatnot, I was like, I can understand it. If he wants to leave, okay, fair enough. I'm not one that's like holding on to players. Obviously, in Müller's case, it was more so a case of the coach not playing him, and that's why I'm very much like, okay, you know what, get your career on track. Because I'm more rational than most people. Like, most people are more emotional. I'm more rational when it comes to these players. For me, the players don't matter as long as the club is there, So I'm a Bayern supporter, not a player supporter. I guess that's what you want to call it, a player supporter. Which is why I find it so easy to criticize players, I guess, and praise them equally. Kimmich, for example, I've been very critical of him in the past when he was playing at right back, and I basically made a video a long time ago where I said Kimmich should not play at right back, and he should play in midfield. In every back, I still have that video. And everyone slated me. Everyone was like, "You don't know what you're saying. If he's playing right back, then he's playing right back. Look how good of a right back he is. Oh, you don't know. You don't even know. You don't even know football." Proven right once again. It took a few years. It took like 4 years or 5 years, but I'm proven right once again, eh? Proven right as always. In the long term, I'm never wrong. But with Douglas Costa, it's a 1-year loan. We're not paying for we're not paying a loan fee. We are paying his wages though. So whatever his wages are, we're paying them, but we're not paying a loan fee, which is nice. Which is it's a 1-year loan with no obligation or no option to buy. So we're just basically loaning him just for him to be an option for us. Okay, I'm a-okay with that. For that 1 year, I'll bite my tongue and not say anything. Like I want a winger, and Costa will be that winger. He will be that option in our team, and you know what? I will take it. I won't complain. I disliked his last year at Bayern, but I won't complain at all because we need a winger, and with the market the way it is right now, with the money that we've already spent on Sané, which not everyone is obviously remembering, but with the money that we've already spent on Sané, etc. Right now I take what I'm given. Like, again, I would have taken anyone as a winger, and despite the fact that I personally dislike Costa, I want him out of my club. I wanted him out of my club. for this 1 year, I won't complain and I will support him 100%. Now the issue, of course, is that he is injury prone. He is as injury prone as Coman. It's 1 year, alright? It's 1 year. Let's calm down. Musiala, for me, he is the future. Whether he plays more centrally, whether he plays on the wing, for me, he is the future. But in 2 years, 3 years time, I think he's gonna be our best player. You heard me right. In 2 to 3 years time, I think he's gonna be our best player. By the end of 2013, I think he will be our best player. You heard it here first. But yeah, that's obviously that's just a story for the long term. And again, long term, I'm never proven wrong. I'm always right. So I will be right with that in that case as well. But Costa will probably happen tomorrow as well. So everything is, well, it has to happen tomorrow, obviously, tomorrow being the deadline. So everything of that sort, you know, it's happening tomorrow. From my perspective, the way I'm seeing it is like, okay, fine, you know, Costa, I disliked you, but if you're going to be here for a year on a loan deal, I will bite my tongue and I will support you, and, you know, we will go forward as long as you're at Bayern. Same with Alaba, which is why I don't like the people that are actively against him at the moment. Yes, you know, he's demanding such a tremendous amount of money, and I can definitely see the emotional side of it all, where it's like, oh, you know, you've been here. I mean, I wouldn't call him a youth product. I know a lot of people do call him a youth product. I don't. But like, you know, for me, for you to be a youth product, you have to be here at least at the age of 14 at the minimum, you know. So that's not the case with Alaba. But like the way I'm seeing it, Alaba, as long as he's still a Bayern player, regardless of his contract situation, like I can talk about his contract situation in a negative light, absolutely, but as long as he's a Bayern player, I'm going to support him. I'm going to be behind him. And if he's not a Bayern player anymore, okay, fair, you know, that's a different story then. But even then, I don't like talking badly about people that have left the club, because I do see it as a career. You know, people do see football with a lot of romanticism, which I fully understand. But I also always look at the career aspect of it also. If he wants to go, let him go. I think with his contract demand anyway, you know, with it, for me personally, for him to press these kind of contract demands means that that he wants to leave. That's the way I'm seeing it. I think he made this demand that he knew we wouldn't pay, just so that he can say, well, they didn't value me enough, I'm gonna leave now on a free, hey. But we'll see obviously how that all pans out and how that all goes down. Now that's the Costa story. Last but not least, Ulreich left to, well, not last but not least, there's one more after this. Actually no, there's two more after this. Ulreich left to Hamburg. A lot of people have mixed feelings about Ulreich. You know, some say that, oh, you know, he cost us against Real Madrid, so on and so on. I really don't care about individual games, alright? Yeah, then he might have cost us. Maybe it wasn't his fault at all, you know, at all. Some people will say, oh, the pass was terrible, so on and so forth. To me, he really should be doing that significantly better. But, that's not the point. I don't really care about individual, performances on a one-off game, because we've had plenty of players that have had bad games, you know. And if you're always talking bad about players that have had one bad game, so on and so forth, as long as they put the effort in, you know, for me, that's, you can have the worst game in the world, as long as you put the effort in. I don't care. You're just I always go back to this. My worst moment as a Bayern fan, real talk, my worst moment as a Bayern fan, and it's not the loss itself, but it's the aftermath of what happened after the loss. And I'm talking about 2012 here, the game against Chelsea. It wasn't the Champions League loss that was obviously that was disappointing. It was heartbreaking. I cried. I'm not gonna lie, I cried on that tears, buckets, alright, bucket loads of tears that day, alright. But that wasn't the worst part. It was the part when we had the was it the international, the friendly, I think it was Holland against Netherlands, I guess I should say. Netherlands versus Germany in Munich. And that game was a week or two after that Champions League loss, and people were booing Robin. Bayern fans were booing Robin. And that obviously happened at the beginning of the season, of the 2012-2013 season, as well as bro, to me that was the worst moment as a Bayern fan. I actually felt ashamed, and I don't feel ashamed ever. But that was the moment I was stop it, alright? Because people were booing him for one bad performance, and to me that's just absolutely ridiculous. You know, he gave his all. It didn't happen, alright, cool. It wasn't even a bad performance, he gave his all, and it didn't pan out. Yeah, it happened. Luckily, the football decided that, you know what, nah, I'm just tricking all of you, we're winning next year, and he's going to be the key part in all of it. Obviously, 2012, he he kept Lewandowski? He kept Lewandowski on side for Dortmund to win essentially, and then he obviously didn't convert his penalty, against Chelsea. So all of these things just negative against him. But then obviously the following year he had that redemption in many people's eyes. I thought he was just fantastic, which is why Robin has always been one of my favorite players, because like he didn't let that get him down. Robin, Ribery, and Lam have always been my three favorite players. Not even like Schweinsteiger. Yeah, I liked him, but like I never repped him. Lam to me was always my favorite player of all time. And then the story with Robin and Ribery, just kind of 2 Champions League finals, well, 1 I guess, 2, and then like coming back from that and be like, yeah, fantastic. That to me, anyway, that's a different story. Ulreich to Hamburg. I wish him all the best. Obviously, wasn't going to get game time after Manuel Neuer, and now with Nubel as well. You're not really going to get much game time, honestly. So I thank you for everything that he's done at Bayern. And I wish him all the best at Hamburg. Not the club that I would have gone to, honestly. I'll be honest. Not the club that I would have gone to. But I mean, hey, if he can like get them into the first the Dino. If he can get them into the first division, fair enough. But the way I'm seeing it, it's like, all right. Have fun in Hamburg. There were like 100 better clubs you could have gone to, but hey, it is what it is. Enjoy your time there, and hopefully, we'll see you soon in the first league. Yeah, hopefully we'll see you soon in the Bundesliga. Hopefully. But that's the story of Ulreich. Not last but not least, there are 2 more. Let's go with Zirkzee. Let's talk about Zirkzee here. So Zirkzee is probably getting loaned out. All the rumors are saying that he's being loaned out, which I find is very okay. I actually don't mind that in the grand scope of things, because I think that he needs game time, and obviously that's the intention for the loan, that he gets game time. So I'm not against that at all. But for me, it's a situation where it's like I was hoping that he'd get a little bit more time with Bayern, but obviously, it's difficult as a striker. It's the same situation really for Ulreich. It's difficult as a striker when you're at Bayern and there's someone in front of you like Lewandowski, or in the other case Neuer, that is like barely ever ill, and that's barely ever gets subbed off. So just from that perspective, I'm like, yeah, you know what? At this critical juncture of your career, when you're young and you really need to like get those game time to really develop, and mature, I'm A-okay with that. I'm A-okay with that. Zirkzee, I wish him nothing but the best at rumored to be PSV. And you know what? We'll see how the future pans out. We'll see how time continues. We'll see how we'll see how he returns, basically. So yeah, that's the perspective on Zirkzee. And then last but not least, Cuisance, Marseille. Seems to be done. Everyone's reporting that it seems to be done. Every newspaper is basically saying, yeah, that's basically done. And the deal with us for Bouna Sarr has also a little bit to do with Cuisance going the other way. If that is the case, Cuisance, all the best. Was supposed to happen to Leeds. I find it very interesting, because obviously the thing was that like the medical failed with Leeds. Like some news reports said that the medical failed to Leeds, and other people said that it was that we just couldn't find an agreement with the transfer fee. So we don't actually know which one it is, because the British sources are saying that the medical failed, and then you have the German sources which are saying that they just couldn't come to an agreement in terms of transfer fee and whatnot. So it's going to be very interesting, because obviously if the medical failed, then his medical should fail at Marseille as well. So to me, I'm now leaning more towards the German sources that said that we couldn't come to an agreement. So from that perspective, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let's see how that medical goes. But if he does go indeed to Marseille, I wish him all the best. I personally wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of him. Not in the sense like there are people out there that are big fans of him, like truly big that think that, oh yeah, Cuisance, he's gonna be the next best player in the world, like next best midfielder. I know there are Bayern fans that do really think that, and to me that's never been the case. Like for me, he's always been a little bit too one-footed, which is he's almost, the way I would describe him is like a winger that is too slow to be on the wing, but almost too one-footed to be in midfield. That's how I would describe him. Like a mix between that, which obviously makes for a very good creator, I guess. You know, once he has some more minutes under his belt, that makes for a very good creator. But the way I see it is like you almost like too slow to be on the wing, but you're very much like going into the dribbles. You know, your first thought is not really passing. Your first thought is dribbling. But then you really want to score. So like almost like an inverted winger, like a Robin type thing, where it's like too one-footed to really be in midfield, but like in Cuisance's case, he is too slow to be a winger. So I find that very interesting. So, you know, again, that's just my take though. Obviously, many people disagree with that. Many people think like, oh, his left foot is that good, that like he's really excelling in midfield. And you know what? Fair enough. We'll see how his career pans out. You know, I don't necessarily rate him that highly. Like there were players that we had in midfield that I rated higher. Gaudino comes to mind. Højbjerg especially comes to mind. I think you know, rated him very highly, but obviously we see how he's doing now at Tottenham. Obviously today being a one-off game kind of thing, but like in general, you know, we see that his career path has gone quite steady and generally in an upward trajectory. But we'll see how, you know, if that pans out for Cuisance as well. Obviously with Gaudino, I don't even know where Gaudino is. Is he still in like in Switzerland? I don't know. Like I wouldn't be able to tell you. Like I've not been keeping track of Gaudino's career at all. But yeah, the way I see it, I wish him all the best. And that is the stories that we have in this transfer window. Now, will this be if all this happens, will it be a good transfer window or a bad one? I will be talking about that tomorrow. Probably actually not tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm assuming I'm gonna be making tons of videos, because obviously we're gonna potentially sign tons of players free. So I will be making a video on this on the 6th of October, evaluating whether we've had a good transfer window or a mediocre one or a bad one, with all our sales and all our transfers and all our loans. You know, that includes obviously Oliver Batista Maya as well, who I was going to continue my OBM watch, but it seemed like nobody really cared, so I just stopped. But like he's doing quite well at head of me. So yeah, that's just my take on it all, ladies and gentlemen. I will be seeing all of you in the next one, everyone. And that was the big Transfer Daily. Welcome to Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with transfers all around FC Bayern. Not like I'm taking that. I'm wearing a hat as well. Yeah, okay, no, stop it right there. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I will be seeing all of you in the next one, everyone. Until then, have a nice evening, day, or morning, and bye.